Yeah, she sounds fucking crazy to me.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane Snatchbox 20 Smith. The Eggman is back on. It's been a while. We got the Eggman on the pod.
What's going on?
It has been quite some
Happy to be
time.
back.
It's been over a year, actually.
Has it been that long?
I think I could be wrong. I don't know, Damon. What was your last episode? Was it the 100th? I think it was the 100th.
The last ones that I've done,
Yeah. I think it was the 100th.
it was the 100th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the 100th.
Before that was the effed up February last year.
Which was right before the 100th.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is
wow.
a long time. Long time.
Well, happy to have you. We're going to have a really good show today.
Yes. We're going to smile.
We're going to smile. A lot of smiling.
Yeah.
We're going to do what Truth or Dare just couldn't.
No. Which was make us smile creepy. Because Truth or Dare smile was a joke, if we're being real.
It was a complex storyline and also a stupid one. I think this was a much more simpler idea, executed very well.
It also helps when Lucy Hale's not in the movie.
Or any of those kids. Those kids were fucking annoying.
Yeah. Now, instead here, you're getting Rose. You're getting
Joel.
a.k.a. the guy who I believe was in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Yeah. He's also in Jennifer's Body. That's how I know
He
him.
is.
Yeah, he plays the punk kid in Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, so he's been around. He knows horror. I actually like him in this movie.
I like him in every movie. He's just a
Yeah.
good actor, Kyle Gallner. Yeah, for sure. This movie's very well acted. It's just like completely like, I know it's similar in the context of the demon makes you see like the entity smiling, but the story is different. And this is, although it's carried in a similar fashion, it's executed much better.
Yes. Oh, 100%. It's kind of a mix of like Truth or Dare. It follows almost.
Yeah, the way that it's kind of given down through the chain.
Yeah.
I could see it as a mixture of both for sure.
Now this guy, the director of this movie, is this like a first for him, do you know? Or has he done other stuff?
Parker Finn, I don't know. I'm going to check right now. It's actually a good call out.
Because if this is like his first movie, I think he did a very good job for like a first attempt at a horror movie.
No, for sure. So I'm pulling up he directed a movie. Nope, he directed 2 shorts. This was his first full-length feature film.
Good for him.
Yep.
This is a movie I've actually now seen 4 times.
That's a lot.
I saw twice in movie theaters because I went with 2 different groups of people to see it.
Interesting.
Then I saw this movie with Mike and Maria at their home. And then I just watched this again for the podcast.
Okay.
So I think I'm done watching it.
Yeah, this is my second time. I watched it the first time with my brother at Mike and Maria. Mike's bachelor party is when I watched it for the first time.
Oh, nice.
We watched it in a pretty much dark Vermont home with no shades whatsoever.
It was honestly epic.
Yeah, 'cause this is a creepy movie for that kind of like.
I love it. I love watching horror
The
movies.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know.
There's no escape
No.
in that Vermont home. There's nowhere around. You're covered in snow.
And there's plenty of people for you to suicide in front of. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So do you want to do it? You want to jump into the spooky pit and let's just talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Smile released in 2022, directed by Parker Finn, as we mentioned, stars Susie Bacon as Rose, Jesse T. Usher as Trevor, Kyle Gallner as Joel, Robin Weigert as Dr. Northcott, and Cal Penn as Dr. Morgan Desai. Don't you love Cal Penn?
I feel like he's just always showing up and shit. Yeah. Just random stuff. Like,
For sure.
and he's always a doctor
He is always a doctor.
when he's not being a stoner.
Yep, and getting White Castle.
Yeah. Good movies. Did you, now, was it one of you hated the Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle? It was you.
Wasn't a fan.
I like that one.
I know.
I don't know, seeing him as a doctor in this movie just kind of
Throws you off?
Yeah, threw me off a little bit.
I mean, the ethnicity makes sense. Indian doctors make great. They make great doctors.
Well, no, because wasn't he also a doctor in the TV show House for a season or
I'm
two?
sure he was, Shane.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Of course he
So
was.
that's what I'm saying. I think I've seen him as a doctor somewhere before.
Yeah, but everybody knows him as the stoner that needed
know.
White Castle.
Yeah.
What was that movie he was in, that low-budget movie we watched where we found Cal Penn in and we're like, he's like a filmmaker?
Oh my God! Yes, I know what
the
you're talking
fuck
about.
is that movie?
I gotta look that up.
it was so terrible.
He just shows up like, oh my god, I need to
you
know
have to
now.
go through Cal Penn's
That's what I'm
filmography.
doing. Because if I see the name of it, I'll remember it. But it was so bad. He just dies like halfway through, right?
Yeah, I forgot the name of the movie entirely.
Oh man, I hate to just sit here.
He's bad
and,
in it. The movie's just bad.
The girl in the photographs.
Yep. Girl in the Photographs. Terrible movie.
That movie is atrocious. That came out in 2015, which was... He was in Dr. House, by the way. Now I'm looking at 37 episodes. He played Dr. Lawrence Kuttner.
Okay.
Harold... Yeah, God. So after Harold and Kumar in House, he kind of did nothing for a while. Poor guy.
Yep. That's what it is.
So let's talk about clinics, doctors, crazy people. Rose. She's having a dream about her mom who's dead in a bed. It's real sad.
OD.
Yeah,
You
she
see,
OD'd.
like, pictures of her, like, and her daughter, and, like, pills. Tons of pills.
She's going to wake up from that. She's going to go see a patient. This patient name is Karl. Karl likes to ramble.
You talking about the guy that's just like, he's dead, she's dead, everybody's dead, you're dead, I'm dead, she's dead, you're dead, everybody's dead, I'm dead, you're dead, mom's dead, she's dead, everybody's dead, dad's dead, you're dead, I'm dead,
I
everybody's
matter.
dead.
Nobody matters. He matters. Nobody matters. He doesn't matter. She doesn't matter. Nobody matters.
He does. You guys do that pretty good. Okay. Were you guys practicing this back and forth before? That's very well done. But yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about.
I just distinctly remember watching this with me, Damien, and Mike G, and having to fucking pause because we were dying. Could not get through this without laughing.
I don't matter. She doesn't matter. Nobody matters. I don't matter. She doesn't matter. You don't matter. Nobody matters. Yeah. So I'm talking about that guy. He apparently he comes in all the time. They're used to it. They're like, just give him 300 cc's of something, whatever you cc into a person's body, he'll be okay.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's 150 cc.
Oh.
So then she talks to her boss, and his boss is like, hey, maybe you should you've been here for forever, take some time off, and she's going to, until she gets a phone call.
Yes.
And she goes to see another patient.
One more patient for her to see. A little bit of a big deal. It's a lady.
I don't remember this lady's name. I don't know if they even give her a name.
Her name is Laura.
Laura. Okay.
Yeah.
So he goes to see Laura. She's trying to talk to Laura. Laura's seeing some shit.
She is seeing a lot of shit. You want to see like almost like fascinating, like just like scared, rambling. Obviously, you think that she has having some kind of psychotic break.
Yes. Yeah. So what she's seeing is basically, since she saw her college professor kill himself in front of her with a hammer.
Bludgeoning himself with a hammer.
Yeah. She's been seeing things. She's basically been seeing people she knows that like just show up and follow her that shouldn't be there because they're dead. Like, I think she mentioned she's seen her grandma who died.
Yeah, she's saying that it's like an entity coming in the form of people that she's seeing.
Which made me think of kind of It Follows as well, because of the form showing up. And she just goes about how it's like, it's smiling at her, but not like a happy smile. It's like the worst smile she's ever seen, I think is the exact quote.
Can you give me a quick smile?
That's more of a pearl smile, I just realized.
Yeah.
But she like describes it as like these people are like wearing a mask,
Yes.
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
there's
it's
not-
so it's like the people she knows, but like they're wearing a mask, and it's just
different.
always smiling.
It's
Yeah.
creepy. All right, so that's all going on. We're getting scared. And she's like, do you see it now? And she's like, no, not now. And
You don't matter. I don't matter. She don't matter. Damien don't matter. I don't matter. Damien don't matter. She don't matter. I don't
as
matter.
it's going out, she eventually starts to
matters?
flip out. And she's like, oh my God, it's behind you. It's here. It's behind you. It's behind you. And she's like going. Rose runs to the phone to make a phone call to get help. And when she turns back around,
She's a different person entirely.
she
let's
is
say.
just smiling hard. It's a
Hard
hard
smile.
smile. And she takes a broken vase.
Broken vase. Like it's definitely a piece of hard ceramic.
And she just slow. Oh, it's so. I hate the slow. Like carves down her face.
She's
through
smiling.
her throat.
Yeah, it's like
And
legitimately
you-
like a smile.
And you
from
see
ear to
the
ear.
blood pouring down as she's smiling until eventually she collapses and dies.
Yeah, and Rose not taking this well.
Not at all. She she gets interviewed by the police. One of the police officers is Joel, her ex-boyfriend
It's not
cop.
even mentioned in this scene. She's just there.
Yeah. It gets mentioned pretty soon,
Later
though,
on,
so
yeah.
I figure we could just bring it up.
Yep.
And the one cop is just like a dick, so he's just like, so she's just crazy, right? We could just wrap this up.
And she's like, crazy? How about like post-traumatic? He's like, this bitch is fucking crazy.
Yeah, pretty much how that whole thing goes. They kind of just like ignore like all of that. They're just like one shot down, crazy, move on, suicide, normal stuff.
And she's a psychiatrist who's working 80 plus hours a week, which is literally insane. I actually had to calculate that. She's literally working 7 days a week, 12 plus hours, around 12 hours a week, like every day, which is literally in absolute sanity.
Yeah, that's not
Crazy.
even something you would do.
No, which is insane. Like that's me plus like an additional day or two.
Yeah, which is sick.
It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
It's
Which is,
insane.
which is why I thought it was weird that the doctor is just like, take a week off, paid.
Yeah.
But like, normally we would never see that in our lifetime.
Nobody
Well,
would ever see a week of paid leave.
Yeah. But
Just paid. Like,
yeah.
like just
It's not. She's not even using vacation time. They're like, just stay home. We will pay you.
she's a doctor, so you have to assume she's making literally probably $200K
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah, but for somebody that is assessing the mental state of others, her mental state would
Yes.
probably have to be in check first.
Exactly, which is why they want her home.
Yeah.
So she goes home, and right away, like this movie doesn't hesitate. She's seeing shit in the dark. So she's like in the dark. She's pouring herself a glass of wine, and then she sees the girl who just committed in the corner of her kitchen, smiling in the darkness.
Yeah.
That was pretty creepy.
It was,
Yeah.
and
Very
she
creepy.
drops her
Look.
glass. It shatters.
Looks again, not there.
Not there. Then her fiance shows up.
Trevor, right?
Yes.
I think it's Trevor. Am I wrong? Is it
No,
Trevor?
Yep, it's
Trevor.
Trevor.
You're good. He shows up. She runs into his arms. They embrace, and she just talks about how she's like just shaken from the whole ordeal today. And then she remembers they have to go to a dinner with her sister and her sister's husband, who I honestly kind of love the sister's husband. He's such a fucking goof. He's like a nothing burger of a character, but so they go to dinner and they're chatting it up.
He's what you'd call a beta.
Yeah.
He's a total beta.
It's funny though. They go to dinner and they're talking, and he's like, he brings up the money aspect of it. He's like, go somewhere else where you'll make more money. You know, don't deal with these crazy. And then the husband's like, oh no, Rose loves this line of work. She would do it for free if she could. And the beta is just like, yeah, okay.
He's just like a stick in the mud, this guy. It's just, but you could tell that she's obviously like, she's messed up. Man.
Oh my God, yeah, she can't
she's-
even focus on like anything.
Yeah,
Because doesn't she like curse at the sister at this scene for something? I don't even remember what it was.
She does.
Yeah, she just doesn't sound like she even wants to be out for dinner. Like,
there was
she doesn't
no-
want to be there.
She felt bad canceling, is what she said.
Yeah.
Because the husband, fiance, has suggested for them to cancel, but she went through with it, which was definitely a bad choice.
She goes to see her old psychiatrist.
Yes.
Who's definitely in Deadwood as Calamity Jane. I forgot what her name is in here.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Dr. in this movie, Dr. Madeline Northcott.
Yes. Oh, well, actually, no. She doesn't talk to the psychiatrist yet. Doesn't the whole house thing happen first with the break into the house?
Oh, just like the alarm and there's
Yeah,
no one there?
does that happen before she talks to the psychiatrist? I believe so.
I think it does.
Yes.
It might, but if it does, like the big thing here is like nothing is there. Just the alarm goes off, which is in the house.
There's also, though, she is wrapping the gift as well for
The train, she gets the
model train, and she's wrapping a gift for her nephew, and then someone breaks in. She gets a phone call about it. Then they're like, look behind you. Like fucking PT. Does this scene remind anyone of PT where it's like, look behind you?
Yep.
No one's there. The phone rings again. Then it's actually the people that are calling about it. Police show up. So she's feeling shaken. That's why she goes to see her psychiatrist.
She's hallucinating, like, and it's interesting because, like, you know, the demon takeover, like, there's the demon and like her actual, like, the correct perception of events.
Yeah. So now she goes to see the psychiatrist.
We see a lot of that throughout this movie. Is like there's moments that she doesn't even remember happening, like how she got to that spot.
Yeah.
And she's also looking for Mustache, the cat.
Yes, the cat is also
cat is
missing.
missing.
Where's this cat?
Mustache, which I think it's like one of the cutest names for a cat. I actually really like Mustache as a cat name.
Yeah.
So the cat is missing. She's shaken. She's scared. So she goes to the psychiatrist. And she's trying to tell the psychiatrist, she's like, I'm like seeing flashes of things and I'm not feeling well. And she wants a prescription, a script, as the doctors say.
It's anti-hallucinogen medication.
Yes. And the doctor's like, no, I don't think you're crazy or that you need it. I just think you're dealing with a very traumatic event and you're still channeling your inner trauma from your childhood. And that's all coming together. And it's why this is happening. Which then she's like, please?
Like, she asked for it again. She's like, come see me in a week. I don't want to prescribe you anything, which fucking sucks.
Yeah. Especially when you know you kind of need it.
Yeah, I mean, like, she's clearly seeing shit. But then again, like, you're falling under the classic trope of, nobody believing someone who says, like, an evil's happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's a tough balance. But this movie does a good job of, like, taking those typical tropes of nobody believing the person, but also balancing, like, originality as well, because there's a lot of original concepts with this movie with tropes usually destroy that. But
yeah,
I think that the way this demon kind of like inhabits you and the way that it's passed on, even we're gonna find out soon of like how it could be potentially broken, is super cool.
Everything about this movie is what's so well done with modern horror is that there's original ideas that are good and interesting and done almost in a realistic way.
Yes.
So I like that. All right, so now we're gonna talk about the nephew's party. She's gonna go to the nephew's party the next day, and everything seems to be going good. She's there, she's smiling, she's having a good time. She put on her party dress.
There's a beta.
Yeah, that guy's also he's getting yelled at by his wife for taking out the sandwiches too early.
I know, it's crazy.
You can't be taking out the sandwiches early.
Guess not.
Brian, would you be taking out the sandwiches early?
I wouldn't be touching food. It's woman's work.
Good thing Caitlin's not here to hear that. But anyway, that's happening. The nephew, I actually don't know the nephew's name. That's why I've just been calling him the nephew. Is his name Jackson as well?
What are we doing? What is happening right now?
No, because I know she says like he's traumatized or whatever.
Yeah, it might be.
I actually think it might be.
Might be on the money.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Where is this young boy? His name is fucking Jackson. I was right. His name is Jackson. Yeah. So Jackson is opening his gift, and as he's slowly opening it, we all think it's a train set.
Yep. Should be a train set.
First of all, like the kid just pulls a dead cat out of the box.
A dead mustache. It's crazy. It's just like, if he got mustache, who's playing with this train set?
Yeah, where's the train set?
Is it the demon?
They should have panned back to the house, and the train is just next to the cat food, just like bumping into it. Yeah. So Jack's mustache is cooked. Rose picks up the cat and she's like freaking out. She's like, "I swear it wasn't me. I didn't do this. It wasn't me." They
don't blow up. They don't buy it. Who's gonna buy that? No. Not even her fiance buys her going like getting it possessed. He's going crazy.
Well, she also sees like the girl again, the suicide girl, in the corner of the room of the party.
Yeah, she's smiling.
So she falls backwards. This scene is sick. She falls backwards through a glass table, arms just covered in blood and glass shards, and you just screams.
She pauses before the scream, and she goes.
It's
nuts.
So like well done.
Yeah, she'll be back in the hospital, and this is where I think Cal Penn like visits her.
Yeah,
and officially gives her like 1 week paid leave.
Yeah,
just because she can't be seeing patients like in this state. She's like, I'm fine. Just you know.
She also catches up with the cop ex-boyfriend.
Yep.
Who's like, "Hey, like, how are you? Like, sup?" Yeah, I mean, and she like blows him off though completely.
She has been blowing him off like crazy. Like he's like, "What? You're just checking up on me now?"
Mm-hmm. That's when the fiance drives her home, and she's like, "Okay, look, I have to tell you something. It's gonna sound a little crazy, but there's an entity following me and tormenting me."
He is not fucking having it. He's not.
No, and I feel bad because this is one of those things. When you put yourself in like both situations, like from his perspective, that's such an outlandish thing to believe. But like,
Yo, I don't even think he's giving her like
a fair shake, and that's the issue.
remotely. Even, I am pretty sure he's not even listening to her.
Yeah, and that's where I come into like, because it's not like she was ever crazy to begin with. I feel like if you're in that position and you're completely sane fiance who has been nothing but a normal person
Up
helping
to, like,
people,
days ago.
yes, after witnessing a suicide, I'm gonna maybe hear her out for a second or two.
like the jump for them and him and like it's like obviously like your mother was crazy, so now like you're attributing a lot of that to what's going on with you, but the reality is like this has not happened until this like a couple days ago.
Exactly. And I just feel like he's being so dismissive. It's like borderline just rude. Like, even if you don't believe her, at least be compassionate or like try to guide her.
Empathize, yeah.
Yes, he's just being very dismissive and not listening, and that's causing her to freak out more.
Sure.
It's just, it sucks. It's such a shitty situation. Because I'm not saying he has to believe her fully, because that's also insane.
Yeah.
But like, maybe give her something.
He's not standing by her at all.
No.
Like not even like the smallest inch of support, whatsoever. He's already convinced that she's going crazy.
And that's the thing with this whole movie, and I think it's the point, is that like it's not just him though. It's everyone. Like even her sister like dismisses her. And like the only one who listens to her at some point is the ex-boyfriend, and that's because he does the fucking police work to be like, yo, some shit's going down here.
I mean, his demon does a good job of like isolating you from those that love you or around you. It does a great job of isolating you and completely like making you live in absolute fear and being scared 24/7, which obviously coincides with what this thing is actually about.
Which is trauma.
It's very similar to COVID. It just isolates you. So you have to die alone.
It's so sad.
Or at least with one person around you.
Yeah. No, it does. The movie does a good thing too, because the demon feeds off of people with trauma already.
Yep.
And so you're already taking vulnerable, weak people that people might not believe already because of your past trauma, and it feeds off of that. So it traps them. Yeah. There's like no escape from this.
Just loves to torment them.
Exactly.
Just, and it's aggressive. It's like even on the first day, It
didn't hold back.
Yeah.
Like that first night after the suicide, she's already getting signs of it. But then we're gonna learn, like no one, like barely anyone makes it 4 days after the demon's after them. It's a fast moving thing. So all right, she's gonna, now that like her fiance is not listening, she's going to just start doing her own research. So she goes to visit the widow of the man who bludgeoned himself with the hammer. And she uses the thing that she's a news reporter. She's just looking up some new information on the case. This is when they also flash to what his face looked like. And his tongue's like hanging out and like the jaw's missing. And
brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Brutal.
So she's gonna go upstairs. This is also Carla from Scrubs.
Yes.
She plays the wife.
Yes, that's right.
She's gonna bring her Rose upstairs to show her husband's paintings, and
great.
I actually,
this man is totally sane.
This is gonna sound sick, but you're both gonna love it. When she's showing her these paintings, do you know what movie it fucking made me think of?
We're all going to the World's Fair.
No.
Okay.
Rise of the Scarecrows. When Pete is doing those paintings, and it's like these fucking scarecrows over here.
I can see that. It reminded me of We're All Going to the World's Fair based on JLB's Avatar.
Yeah. Shit, that also does make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why it made me think Rise of the Scarecrows.
I'm surprised this person would keep all this creepy shit still on her walls.
She said, I think she even said she's like been meaning to take it down, but she just hates going into the room.
That's fair. I mean, like, if it's so scary to go into her loving husband's house who just like broke in like a matter of probably less than a week.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, it's all.
There's a lot there.
It's a lot to unpack.
What I just did not understand is how, like, I'll be honest with you, the main girl, Rose, was kind of like asking respectful questions, and all of a sudden, she thought she was out to just like be like, "What kind of reporter are you? You're lying to me. Like, this is you're just trying to like profit off of my husband's like fear and like hallucinations." And I feel like she was not even asking remote questions close to that.
No, well, because what it is at one point she kind of makes it sound like she believes what the husband was saying, and that's why she says, "Well, are you a fucking nutcase?"
She's like, "It's happening to me."
Yeah.
And what, does she also believe that her husband was a fucking nutcase?
Yes, and that's the issue, and that's what I'm saying. The demon kind of like target people, like who no one would believe. It's almost like, because it seems like what happened to Rose now is what happened to the husband. Wife didn't believe him at all, and like no one helps.
Yeah, this scene is a little confusing. I don't know why this switch flips and she just like completely just hates her guts.
It's almost like she didn't want to believe that her husband was right about an entity.
Yeah,
it's almost easier for her to believe that he just lost it and killed himself.
But I feel like if she wanted any more information about what the hell happened to her husband, I mean, I feel like
this would have been the time.
This is the moment, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It is a weird character shift.
Especially because she's like, I'm experiencing exactly what he's experiencing. He's like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Get out of my house.
Yeah. So she just fucking tosses her.
You don't deserve to look at my husband's paintings.
But she does learn that the husband saw suicide as well.
Yeah.
So she kind of is starting to piece it together. That's why she goes to Joel's house.
She needs to get some of these case files.
I fucking love this whole scene with Joel.
The scene is so stupid.
No. You know, when she's like, I gotta ask you some things. You just have to ask no questions to do what I say. And I just love how he keeps harping on it. He's like, I didn't agree to any of this, but I'm just gonna keep doing it. Wait, what don't you like about it?
From the get-go. So the scene immediately starts with like, oh, fuck. Like, you could have went to the station for this. This is my day off. And it takes him 2 minutes to pull up the fucking case files. Literally less than that. A minute and 30. Like, so quick.
I know.
And gives her everything she needs to know.
He just didn't want to work. To be fair to him, though, and it probably has more so to do with the fact that he's been trying to be nice to her for the last 2 days, and she keeps blowing him off.
She's being a legit cunt to him. Like, this man's been treated like shit by her.
Yes.
Like, she's been treated by shit by everybody else, but she's been treating him like absolute dog
which
shit.
is almost why I think he didn't want to do it for her, because he almost feels like he's being used.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just like he's so quick to just completely pump out these files.
Oh, it's so fast. It's so fast. But now we start to go down the rabbit hole of like, so we see that he watched an older woman like fucking gouge her eyes out, it looked like.
Yeah, that was the person before Munoz was the person before the patient she had.
Yes. And then that old woman, we learned, also saw a suicide.
Yeah, old garden shears McGee.
We watch a video at a gas station where the guy just takes out some garden shears, fucking plunges it into his chest like I'm watching The Burning.
Pretty sure the blood squirts before the garden shears.
It does. It's a shitty. I chalked it up to maybe that's how security footage looks, but it's not well done if it is a mess up there, because the blood does look like it shoots out way too fast.
Too fast and way too much.
The problem here is that she's just like, you can't ask me any questions, and he's basically like, all right, who are these people?
Yeah,
and she's like, oh, I gotta leave.
Just leaves them. She's like, oh, by the way, though, can I use your $70 ink before I go as well? Ink ain't cheap. Go to the library.
But little does she know, he's a detective. He's gonna dig.
He is.
It was intriguing, and she has a good case in point. Now she knows that there is a logical line of her of her questioning. It's not just like something that's just like, oh, she's fucking crazy. This is a pattern.
Yes, and to be fair, I like that they made the cop like actually notice a pattern and like actually look into it. Like, that's just good police work. I appreciate nowadays when a movie makes a cop competent, because you don't get that anymore.
No, you don't.
So it's actually nice to have a movie where the cop's like, yo, I'm gonna look into this and do my job.
The dismissive cop is kind of like
it's so overplayed at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. It also makes you think like it gives you a bad impersonation of cop work. Like, these guys just do literally nothing all day.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I like it. Like, it's you're actually seeing a cop do his job and actually be the most helpful person in the movie, besides Callie, who we're gonna get to soon. Who he's like, I can tell you everything.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna scream really loud.
Well, I mean, it's fair. I get
his scream is awesome.
Yeah, I get where exactly he's coming from.
100%. Yeah. All right. So we have our information. She knows what she wants. She has it printed out. So she's first gonna go to her fiance, who, when she goes into the house, has the therapist in the home already.
Yeah, and
it's an intervention. Where's the fire?
Legitimate intervention.
Yeah.
Where's the fire?
Yeah, it's basically she just fucking flips.
She feels trapped. She's not having it.
It's entrapment.
Fucking make yourself at home.
I think
we're done.
I think the idea behind all the images and stuff was to try and get people to believe her.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think she was initially going to try to go to Trevor and say, like,
look at this.
Look, this is what's happening to me. And then it's the same with her sister, which eventually he's going to do as well.
It's crazy because now she has the actual documentation to prove that she has some kind of standing here.
This is actually it's annoying. Not the movie. The movie, it's annoying to watch, but it's well done because it's supposed to be annoying. Is she actually, everything she has, like if she shows you and actually you pay attention, you would actually think something's going on.
For sure.
Maybe not an evil spirit, but maybe there's a cult activity or just there's something weird going on.
And that's what the cop even said too. He's like, I believe there's some kind of like, maybe like a cult, like
aspect to it.
It had a cult element, but
no one listens to her.
He substantiates what she's saying.
Yeah, because he actually paid attention and looked at it. Like, fiance doesn't. She leaves. Then goes to the sister. She's showing the sister, and the sister's like, what the fuck are you bringing this to me?
Well, I mean, like, you got the beta husband first. He ain't gonna do it. He's like, I don't think you should be here. She's like, I want to see my wife. She's like, okay.
But doesn't the wife just say, get the fuck out of the door or something like that?
Yeah, and she goes outside to talk to her.
Yeah.
So they're just talking, like, with the door closed.
So when the wife and the husband are doing it, like, she's fucking him, right? Like,
my God. 100%. Literally just commanding him.
Like, she's pinning him down and choking him out.
Yeah, I mean, well, she's like one of those classic stay-at-home PTA moms.
Oh, my God, that line. You're fucking perfect, bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sister doesn't listen, so she flips. All right, we haven't talked about it. This movie has a lot of jump scares to it.
A lot. And this is one of the ones that was in the trailer that kind of like...
I actually like this one, though.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the better... Like, I don't like the transition into, like... There's a scene where it transitions into a horn beeping and her standing in the middle of the road. Like, as a jump scare, it's very cheap. I actually like this one because... After the sister doesn't listen and she goes back to her car, you see the sister come out the door and walk and knock, and then her head just spins around.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good,
Yeah, because you can't see her face. You
Yeah.
can't even see her jaw. You just see her neck.
Yeah, it's just all blurry until she comes up to the screen and then the head spins.
That's a good jump.
It was a good one.
They had pendulums down into the frame.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
So there's nothing left for her to do but go and eat a burger in her car outside a diner.
Honestly, I'm hungry, and that sounds incredible.
Yeah. We are getting some dogs after this recording.
Couple of doggies.
Some fries.
Fries, yeah. Maybe I'm probably going to order an onion ring, honestly.
Smart. I love a good onion ring.
Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah. So, food aside, I believe that she gets a call from Joel now, right?
Yeah.
And Joel's
This
like...
is where he's dug in. He's done his research, and he sees a line, 20 cases. However, he sees one break in the case.
Yes. Mr. Talley.
Which is all going up to a Robert Talley who broke it. She's like, I need to see this man. Arrange it for me. So she goes with him to talk to Robert Talley.
Yeah. And
they're in a prison.
Yes.
Or no,
it's a prison. It's a prison.
So the way they describe it is instead of him killing himself, he like gruesomely murders somebody else.
That was the break. Yeah, the break was a murder.
Yeah, with the other witness there.
But the pattern continued afterwards.
Yes, because there was someone witnessed his murder, and then that person went on to commit suicide.
It was 20 unique cases. I think he mentioned 19 suicides. So
Yes.
like it was just like one where it wasn't, and he's still alive, and it's this guy. So they're both going to go in to talk to him. And as it stands, she goes up to the glass to talk to him.
Yep.
And they have a conversation. I think she kind of like mentions that, hey, like this has been happening to me the past. I have this friend.
Right. She actually says she has a patient.
I have this patient, you say, who's been kind of seeing shit the last 4 days. After she committed suicide, and this patient has seen someone else commit suicide, and he's like, knows exactly what this is. And he's like, this is what you have to do. This person has to kill somebody else.
Yeah. He's like, make a mess, make it as big as possible, but you have to make sure someone sees it.
A witness.
Yes, a witness. He even says, like, he researched this. He saw there was another chain of this in Brazil where the chain was broken by a murder.
Yes.
So that's how he figured out he had a murder.
Yep. Which is interesting because, this is a lot bigger in scope than than this line, but the scene was, for me, a little bit a gimme.
Like, it's just like throwing the plot, like, or
making it very easy for the plot.
Okay.
Because she's just like, I can't kill somebody.
Oh, well, yeah, with that part.
I guess in heightened emotion she'd say that, but it wasn't building. She literally just blurted that out.
Yeah. It kind of just happened. I guess they were taking it as, like, her constantly having to hear that murder was the solution. She just flipped.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was genuine. I felt like it was kind of just like a break to help facilitate plot, but
in essence, she gives away that she has it, and the other important part is that the cop doesn't know.
No,
the Talley asked the cop to leave.
That's right.
So the cop doesn't know that she has to now kill somebody.
That's actually a very good
Because
point.
when she leaves and the cop's not in the room because he doesn't want the cop in there because he has to tell someone, like, he has to tell her you have to kill somebody. He doesn't want the cop in the room. She leaves, and then she just falls in line with the trope of every horror movie where she doesn't let anybody know, and she has to take it on herself, and because he's a cop, she doesn't know how he'd react, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, if he was anyone else other than a cop, she probably would have told him. But you can't tell a cop you have to go kill someone.
100%.
So they go their separate ways, and this is when it goes right to the scene, right, where she grabs she goes home first, because while she's home, she's getting a knife, because she's probably going to kill someone. The therapist shows up.
Yeah, this is a cool scene.
It is a really good, that's why I'm glad I didn't skip it, because I almost did.
You're making house calls now.
Yeah. They're talking back and forth, and then while they're talking, she gets a phone call.
Yep.
She's like, are you going to answer that?
Answers it.
Whenever someone asks you if you're going to answer your house phone, it's not a good sign, because no one answers their house phone.
True.
One, no one has a house phone. Secondly, if you do, it's just spam from like East Orange or something.
Yeah. Or the Philippines.
Yeah. I was only saying because my parents' house phone, whenever the spam comes up, it says East Orange spam.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's like, why is East Orange while he's calling? Anyway, so she answers the phone. It's the therapist. That's kind of weird because she's sitting in front of the therapist. The therapist has the creepiest smile out of any of them.
I agree. Smiles fantastic.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Very creepy. It ruined my day. Like, just her mouth, I don't know, it like gets small, but there's so much teeth in the tiny, like, ugh.
I actually think this is also the first point in the movie where you start hearing the actual demon.
Yes, that's when it talks to her.
Because the demon gets close to her and like actually like physically touches her and gets her up against the wall.
It fucking drools everywhere.
Yes.
It is a wet mouth.
The wettest.
Yeah. But it lets her go. She gets in the car, and she goes to the hospital.
Here's the thing, like, at what point, because they make it like mention, like, people last a week, people last 4 days. Like, at what point does it bring you to the point where it just has you die?
I think however much you
take
fear it. Like, I think it just, like, I think Damon said earlier, it feeds off of that.
Until it absolutely breaks you to not fear it anymore?
Or, yeah, and then it just, like...
And it also needs the right moment, right?
Yeah.
Because if the thing would have killed her there...
It couldn't kill her there. Yeah. That's right.
Somebody else needed to see it.
Oh, no. Yeah, that I totally understand. I'm saying, at what point is it like just like strategic, or does it just keep haunting you until it actually takes everything you've had?
I think it takes everything you have, and then it waits for the moment when you're alone with one other person.
Yeah.
So
no cases lasted longer than a week.
Yeah, exactly. Which she was on day 5, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
They also haven't considered the idea of multiple witnesses.
It's actually never happened. It's never been brought up. It's never
call out.
So
what is this? Truth or dare? The world be witness.
Oh God, so bad. I do like where she's gonna go with this, though.
I mean, it makes sense because, like, what's one way to beat this thing?
Yes. So let's get to the hospital and then we'll get to it. So she goes to the hospital. She has a knife. She's sitting in the car. She's clearly deciding on who she's gonna murder. Yep. She goes into the hospital. She goes into Karl's room.
Well, I mean, who matters and who doesn't matter?
Nobody matters. Nobody matters. I don't matter. You don't matter. She doesn't matter, and we don't matter. So you go to Karl, the guy where nobody matters, and she's gonna. He's doing that. No.
Backs up into a corner, and then Cal Penn shows up.
It's perfect timing. She starts stabbing Karl, and the scene, like when he's like screaming with her as he's stabbing, is very unsettling.
Yeah,
it's
a cool
weird,
scene.
but unsettling.
It's a cool scene. I like it. Actually, it's cool.
And then Cal Penn rips his face off.
Yep, he's gonna rip his face off.
Yeah.
And that's a hallucination or a dream or something because she wakes up in her car.
I think it's just a hallucination.
I agree. I feel like she feels like it happens.
Yeah. So she wakes up in her car. Cal Penn knocks on the window, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he sees the knife. He's like, "Maybe you should come inside."
Yeah.
But she's gonna just drive off.
No,
it's a better solution.
Well, because he says, and it gives her what to do. He says, "You shouldn't be alone," and that's when clicks. She can't pass it on if she dies alone.
Yeah.
So that's why she goes where no one will know where she is.
Is the break of this thing just suicide? If you kill yourself,
right? If she were to go to that cabin with no witness, it would break the chain as well because it couldn't pass on. So that's the thing. The murder, you spare yourself, but you just pass it on to someone else. If you were to kill yourself,
I think
it would break the chain fully.
Well, we've seen the chain. Well, I guess it wasn't broken because he still fed off the panic of that Tally killing somebody and there being a witness.
Yeah, exactly.
Enough.
There was still enough trauma because it says it feeds off of trauma.
We don't know if this would be like there's no trauma. It's not being induced. Would the demon die with her? Essentially,
that's how I took it. I took it. That's why she went alone. So she goes to her mother's house, which was very strange because it's in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I mean, like, she gets the flashback. Like, so clearly, this is where she grew up.
Mm-hmm. She's there. Joel is calling her. She's not picking up. So this is the thing, and she should have thought of this. Joel's a cop. He's going to track where the phone is, which is what he does.
He's like, I'm going to try to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's in her home. She gets a lantern. It's really creepy. Then she goes into her mother's room. And that's where shit gets a little...
Well, she sees her mom, who starts to become taller than she remembered.
Well, before she becomes taller, though, we actually do get some interesting backstory. Because the whole time we thought Rose's mom just committed and she died and it traumatized Rose. We kind of learned that Rose aided in it by not helping her mom. Because her mom tells her to call the police to get help, but Rose just leaves her to die.
Yeah.
Which is where more of that trauma, I think, built in. That guilt, as you would say.
Partially responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she was not a drug addict and her mom was.
Exactly.
She was 10.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's the thing.
She was 10. I mean, I guess she carried the guilt her entire life of not helping her mom, but at 10...
It's tough.
Yeah.
So it's that shitty thing where it's like, it's the mom's fault. Like, the mom was a drug addict and all that, and she had illness, and Rose was a child. But even as a child, you're still going to carry that guilt that you could have did something to fix it. You're always going to blame yourself.
Sure.
Even if you're not to blame. It's human nature, I feel like, to take that blame.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's tough. But yeah. So now, as you said, the mom's going to grow pretty big.
Very tall. Very creepy.
She's going to chase her through the house. She's going to say, basically, you can't escape your own mind, even though I'm in your mind. And then she's like, it's my mind. I control it. Hits her with the lantern. Set her ablaze.
She has an inviting mind, But yeah, she's going to, like, crack the lantern over her head, which she incinerates and just screams and...
Yeah.
Ghoulish scream. It's over. She's going to walk out and everything's going to be great.
We're all happy. Everyone's happy. She's going to go to Joel's house. She's going to like, can I sleep with you? And he's like, yes.
How do I look?
Forever and ever.
Smile.
Yeah. But she starts to think that's a little sussy that he would smile like that.
But Joel doesn't matter. And you don't matter. And I don't matter. Sometimes Rose doesn't even matter.
Yes.
But what does matter?
Death? Because it's coming for all of us. Including Rose right now, because she realizes she hasn't defeated the entity. Because, Joel's it. She starts running, runs through his door. She's outside of the house. Huge hallucination again.
Yep.
She hasn't beaten anything.
Nope.
Then
she's been in that house
the whole time. She fucking flips because Joel actually shows up to the house.
Yep.
And she's like, no, what are you doing here?
The one thing that couldn't have happened, a fucking witness.
It happens. She runs into the house. The creature gets her. I fucking love the reveal of what the actual creature looks like with the multiple skulls and mouths.
Totally agree, because it rips off its face and then you see multiple mouths.
It's actually a really cool design.
I love the possession element. It's so cool because you flash back to the beginning of the movie where that one, you always see it from the perspective of Rose, but you don't see it from the perspective of the patient who's just seeing something absolute scared and just seems to be rambling and crazy. She's seeing this. Now you're seeing it from Rose's perspective.
Yep.
She's seeing how the demon takes full possession.
And what I also like, and it's kind of the comparison, is you see the demon when it grabs Rose, it holds her mouth open and goes in her.
It's like a reverse Deborah Logan.
Yeah, actually, yes. But what I was going to say is at the beginning of the movie, when the patient is that and she's freaking out and starting to spasm, her mouth starts to open wide. Not comically wide, like a demon's going in it, but just open enough where it's kind of that would be the time when the demon was going in her.
Yeah. But she literally rips her mouth and her jaw, almost uncorks it and just slips in.
Yeah.
And she's a fucking big ass demon.
Yeah.
Wild.
So Joel, hearing the screams, breaks the door open.
Obviously, he can't see anything.
No, he just sees. This is actually, I love this ending, by the way. I love how it's shot. I love everything about it. He just sees her standing, facing the other way, holding the gasoline can over her head. She turns around, fucking smiling at him.
Yeah.
Is it interesting that the demon shows like the hallucination of her lighting it on fire and the house and trying to destroy the whole whole like
so the demon enters the person at like the pretty close to the very moment where the person kills himself or herself.
Yes.
Right. So it's like the shift is very swift, you know, and immediate.
And no one else can see it besides the person that's getting possessed. And also, even like she mentions, like her patient was because that's when she actually like physically saw the change. It's the only time she's physically seen like the change. She mentioned like it was like she saw two different people.
Yeah.
Someone that was just like scared, and then someone that was possessed.
Yeah. So once she turns around, she's smiling, holds the match, and Joel just like doesn't know what to do. And I just like how it's shot, where she drops the match, she catches, but you don't see her catch. You actually just see it all through Joel's eye.
I mean, you cannot not see that.
Yeah. And it's like, I love like watching it, like her burn through his eye. And then it just ends, and then you just get lollipop, lollipop, ooh, lolly, 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 lollipop.
Sequel or no?
I pray there isn't.
Me too. I feel like
this does not need. The story is told. I don't need the story of Joel trying to defeat it. Like, it was the same thing with Sinister.
I agree.
The Sinister story was told. It didn't need a sequel because the Sinister one was the same thing. It was like the cop trying to help someone again.
Do we need the demon to die? I don't think so.
No.
Like sometimes like it's just like too insurmountable.
It's just there.
Just let it be what it was. The portrayal of Rose getting unfortunately losing to the demon. Like that's just the story.
Exactly.
Let it die there.
It doesn't need more. Look, in my head, I know Joel's going to try to figure out how to stop this. I don't need a movie about it.
Yep. 100%.
So, that was Smile. I love this movie.
You love it so much, you would actually, like, pleasure yourself to watching it again. You would actually jerk off to it.
No. No.
You would say it matters, though. It definitely matters.
Yeah, it matters. This matters. It all matters. We matter. This matters. This movie matters.
Podcast matters.
Yes, it does. Of course it does. You know what doesn't matter? My rating. But I'm going to give it to you anyway. I'm actually, the more like I've thought about it, I'm going to give this movie, I'm like high 7, low 8. It's like right there. I'm going to give it a 7 though. I really like this movie though.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of like recent reviews, what have been given movies. I definitely liked it more than like X. So the more I've like thought about it and talked about it. So yeah, I think 7's where I'm going to give it. It's a good like original story.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it takes elements from other movies, like we said, like The Smile, it's like Truth or Dare, or like kind of like the whole entity passing from person to person. It's like it follows, but overall, it's unique enough, and it's good enough, and it's scary enough at times that I just really like it. Oh man, I kind of do want to give it an 8, but I'll just leave it at a 7.
It's your rating, Shane.
I know.
You're right.
I'm gonna leave it at a 7, and I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, 7 for me, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, I feel like it fits right at a 7. I mean, it was original. There are some moments where I was just like, it doesn't really make too much sense, but I get it. It's situational. It's a horror movie. Like I said, it's a balance of the tropes with originality. And I think it really orchestrates itself very well. Like, the idea is simple enough to follow, but also intriguing enough to catch your interest and not be like duplicative of like another movie like Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
I was highly interested. I really enjoyed it. I think the concept is pretty cool. I like the alternate solution of potentially trying to like kill yourself when you're alone, or try to even battle a demon alone, or murder somebody to try to get to try to have the witness see it, have them become the next person that it gets passed on to, because you know it makes you feel like you are yourself, like in a position of like, do I want to be like this, or should I just pass it on and fuck somebody else over? Like It Follows, like you said, which is very real for that movie. So I enjoyed it, and I give it a 7. Damien, what are your thoughts?
I think I'm gonna give it a 7 also. Yeah, I love the concept. Like, even watching this movie, I got like a little Drag Me to Hell sort of feeling as well.
Oh yeah.
So so it's like you know, I don't think this person. I don't think we really had the like where the person is like thinking of the moral reasons behind giving it to somebody else, like Drag Me to Hell. But yeah, I thought it was great concept. You know, I think it was fairly believable with the characters not making the leap of you know, this person really is being followed by a demon. I think they did it pretty well, although, you know, like the husband doesn't give her a chance in hell.
Yeah,
So,
that was the one issue.
so I think if the fiance gave her a little more of a shot, I would. But then again, he's not like obligated to her, you know. So I mean, I think that's why I like it so much is because you know, it's so believable that the characters wouldn't believe her, you know, and how it tries to isolate. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie, honestly.
All right. So we're all in agreement, 7. Now let's see if we're all in agreement for this next part, the Necronomicon. We have technically 2 kills.
I mean, you have everybody that's been in the
Yeah.
line.
Oh no. Yeah. There's more than that. You're right, because there is multiple.
I have to go with Rose. I have to.
Well, yeah, that's who I was going to go with.
Like,
too,
I cannot
to be
not
fair.
go with that. That ending, everything culminates to that ending scene. It's brilliant. Like, how could I not go with that?
You're not gonna go with Shear's kill?
It was great, but like the blood was totally unbelievable. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's some stuff that just doesn't make sense to me, but I get it.
No,
Fine.
like the only 2 I would even have considered were Rose or the opening girl, Laura.
Yes,
Because that is also like
the slow cut in the throat.
But I think Rose is who I would want in it. She just, the story was about her, and to end with her burning alive is just sick.
It's her burning alive, and then just like the lead up to her just like getting the entity inside her fully, like possessing her to kill herself. Awesome.
It's great. All right, so Rose, we're unanimous. Rose. This was the story of no one believing you. This was the story of trauma, built-up trauma, childhood trauma, and how no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, sometimes you just can't escape that trauma. It builds and builds and builds until eventually there's only one solution left, and that's to light yourself on fire in front of your ex-boyfriend who also happens to be a cop. And for that, we're putting you in our Necronomicon.
Well said.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fair.
Yeah. So we've been on fire.
On absolute fucking fire, and we're going to continue that.
Yeah.
We're going to continue the trajectory of good 2022 movies. Oh, man, it's like I'm so hyped.
Yes. Before we say what we're going to next week, Damien, thank you for being on.
Damien, it's
it
been a
was
while.
great to have you back on.
It's great to be here. I feel like I do so many good movies on here. It's
Okay,
awesome.
yeah. Everyone has their role. You're good movies. Actually, Matt, also good movies. We want to do a shitty movie? We'll get Benanti.
Benanti or Scott will be on for that.
There are guys for that. I'm sure we got a lot of good movies coming up. So if you want to get on one of those, just let us know. So now I'll say it because next week we got a really good one. We're doing Barbarian.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely an interesting movie. Really paints a good portrait of Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, it does. Every movie I've ever watched, Detroit looks terrible. It Follows. Terrible.
That's right. Yeah.
Barbarian. Terrible. The Tigers. Terrible.
The Pistons. They were good in the 90s.
They ain't good anymore.
No.
No,
Lions?
terrible. Who?
The
Lions?
No.
They're not bad.
They're getting there.
They're getting there. They're getting there. They'll probably be bad, though. It's Detroit. What else do you expect? So, I guess with that said, we're the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week where we decide if Airbnb should even be allowed to be in Detroit.
Imagine that situation, though. The movie is very relatable because you feel like although it possibly couldn't happen, if you book a place that's booked by somebody else using a different app.
Very possible.
Wild.
Scary.
That movie takes a very uncharacteristic turn. I can't wait for next week.
Some would say it's like watching 2 different movies between the first 45 minutes and the last 45 minutes.
Never watched 2 movies in one movie. It's not a college.
No?
We'll see you next week.
Bye.